segmenting your list for fun and profit on today's episode. Today's episode is brought to you by ConvertKit, the ultimate list building, tagging, and segmentation tool. To find out how ConvertKit can change your business and double your profits, go to servenomaster.com/ConvertKit today.
Are you tired of dealing with your boss? Do you feel underpaid and underappreciated? If you want to make it online, fire your boss and start living your retirement dreams now, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to SNM053 Podcast, where you'll learn how to open new revenue streams and make money while you sleep. Presented live from a tropical island in the South Pacific by best-selling author Jonathan Green. Now, here's your host.
Hello and welcome to another very special podcast with me, your host, Jonathan. I'm very excited. It's 5 a.m. It's absolutely gorgeous outside. I'm watching a wonderful sunrise. And I'm all by myself spending a little bit of one-on-one time with you. If my voice sounds a little bit froggy, a little bit worn out, last week I did back-to-back 3 a.m. webinars, which are 3 p.m. in America. So to make things convenient for some of my new listeners, some of my new followers, I did have to stay up all night and it just wore me out. So please forgive me if my voice sounds a little bit worn out, a little bit froggy. I'm going to do my best to give you a full-length episode today. And today's topic is something that's really important, even if you're at the very beginning of your marketing journey. This is an issue that I've been dealing with for years and years. It's something that high-level marketers talk about all the time, but when we're beginners, it's very hard to understand how to implement. And it's this idea of list segmentation. And there's different ways people talk about list segmentation. When some people talk about it, they mean demographics. So sometimes you only email the men on your list. Sometimes you only email the women on your list. Sometimes you only mail the parents. Sometimes you mail people based on their age bracket. This is one form of segmentation, which is demographic segmentation. And with some list providers, you can't do that. They put in huge amounts of data. The way this works is connecting your autoresponder software to social media tools. Most people use the same email address for LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and other social media profiles, whether they're on Instagram or anything else. When you have a tool that connects with those, and I used to dabble with an autoresponder that did this, you can pull in tons of demographic data about the person. You can find out a lot about them. So with a simple email address, you can find out their gender, their age, where they work, the type of industry they're in, how many friends they have, all of these pieces of information. If they have kids, how old their kids are, all of this data can be pulled from people's different social media profiles. This is one type of segmentation, but it's not what I'm going to be talking about today. That type of segmentation is very much automatic. Either you have the data or you don't, and then when you send out an email, you send out a broadcast based on that data or not. That's one type of segmentation. What we're going to talk about today, which is much more valuable, is segmentation based on behavior and based on desire. This is more active, it's more proactive, and it will make a much bigger difference. Very rarely do people have a list that's split into men and women when they only need to mail one or the other. If you have a list about relationships, usually you'll segment the list at the time of opt-in. You have different free gifts for men and women. If you have a weightlifting or an exercise offer, usually you split the list right away. But if you don't, if you're in fitness and you didn't do it at the beginning, then later on you can use demographics to split your list or to segment your list. One of the challenges I've run into is that I've been running email lists for 7 years, and every time you launch a new product, you create a series of new lists. You have your main new list for everyone who buys the product. Then you have the list for everyone who doesn't buy the product but takes a free gift on the way out and maybe they'll buy it later. Then you have another list for everyone who buys each upsell. Each time I launch a product, I end up with 4 or 5 new lists. And it begins to become overwhelming. And you need this list segmentation so that you can use the not feature when you're sending an email. Email everyone except the people on this list. So let's imagine you have a list of 10,000 people that are interested in you and they've bought different products and they're like you in different ways and they're all on different lists. As I mentioned in the ConvertKit episode a few episodes ago, you do pay for each different list of persons on. But it's not a huge expense until you start getting a list much bigger than 10,000. But at 10,000, it's not too big of a problem. You're only going to have maybe 10 or 15% overage, which is costing you like $15 a month or less. Maybe it's $5 a month for the overage. It's not a big enough problem yet. So you have people on all these different lists and you want to send out a message about your course A. You say, mail everyone on my list except for the people who purchased course A. By using that except, you then don't send a message to people that have already purchased something. That's why the ability to say not is so important with your email provider. The email to say, don't email the people that have done these actions. The problem is that, and the problem I face is that over time, you've launched so many products in so many different markets, you end up with people on 6 lists, 8 lists, 10 lists. You have all of these different miniature lists. Some of the lists only have 12 people. Maybe only 12 people took your third upsell on a product. You have all of these different lists, and you have to constantly set up these different rules. Now, if you want to really track people that have bought your Amazon books, then you have to keep track of those behaviors. All of these different little things start to add up. And for me, I recently started working with an email specialist. This is a lady who helps me with my email marketing. She helps me with writing emails. Mostly, she helps me with organization more than anything else. She does help me with writing emails. She takes emails that I've already written, structure I've already written, and kind of cleans them up a little bit for me and helps a little bit with the language just to take me over the top. I'm always trying to get better. And with how much time I spend recording podcasts and creating new products, my emailing had slipped off over the last few months. So I brought in someone to help me. I'm willing to admit that. Someone to help me grow and help with my structure. The biggest problem she noticed is that I had the most disorganized email software she'd ever seen. She told me it was a complete nightmare and shocked her. So I'm glad that even when I'm doing something wrong, I'm number one. With all of my different lists and emails and offers and projects I've offered all mingled together, it's very difficult to send out an email because you have to send an email to one list and then not and do negative to like 10 or 15 other lists. So the numbers are really complicated. You're always doing these challenges, but it's important to segment your list so you don't send someone an offer they've already seen and weren't interested in. You don't want to send them something they said that they have no interest in buying. And when you're growing, you'll eventually have lists in different markets. I have lists in parenting. I have lists in personal development. I have lists in relationship stuff for when I used to work on those projects. I don't want to accidentally send an email about erectile dysfunction to my mommy's list. That would be a nightmare. Now, I don't promote that type of offer, but that's the ultimate embarrassment, isn't it? Sending something that's so inappropriate. This is why we want to carefully segment our list rather than just have one big pool that we email everything that comes in. Because when you send someone the wrong email, you can hurt that relationship. There are 2 ways that email providers now handle the idea of segmentation. The first is building multiple lists. Every time people do a new action or go through a new form, they get added to a new list. You could also add people to new lists by providing links in your email that when they click on link X, the software knows, move them to a different list. The other way, which has always been quite expensive, this is a way that very expensive providers do, is called tagging. Each time someone does something, it just adds a note to their file, adds a little tag that says, took this freebie, bought this product, bought that product. Instead of having multiple lists, it's kind of hard to explain purely by audio, but it's much, much more organized, and it's always been a very expensive feature. For a long time, the only company that provided this feature started at $300 a month, and working with them, in my opinion, is a nightmare. I do have a few friends who successfully work with this company, but it takes a lot of work, and you have to be a lot smarter than me, probably 3 times smarter than me, to successfully work with their platform. It's very expensive. Their customer support is very expensive. And most people I know who work with them have someone at least part-time who just works on that software. So they have to pay $300 a month, and then they end up paying an extra $1,000 to $3,000 a month just to have someone help them set up the software. And it's always been the only way to get tagging. But lately, a few different providers have started offering it. The cheapest of them is ConvertKit. That's who I use. That's what I've mentioned before in previous episodes. And the main reason I switched was organization more than anything else. When you're really disorganized and you have all this complicated segmentation, it's hard to get excited about writing an email because then you have to sit down and spend 15 minutes thinking about who you can and can't send to. It's hard to automate your sequences. The reason we want to sequence, the reason we want to segment our sequences, segment our list and divide them up are 3 main reasons. The first is when we're promoting affiliate offers. You have a list in the health space and you're promoting this yoga course. You can send out, as I cover in my email blueprint, 5 emails promoting this yoga course. But you don't want to send the same email over and over again to the same person. And you don't want to send someone an offer they're obviously not interested in. So the way you could tag your list, the way I tag my list is first, you can look at the unopens. People that have not opened the email, you can remail the unopens. This is a simple segmentation. It's a one-time use, unless you save the segment for some reason, but you send it one time and you say different subject line, and you can send the same email because they never saw the first email, they never opened it. The second way, more advanced segmentation, is emailing everyone who either didn't open the email or opened it but didn't click the link. So these are all people that never saw the page you wanted to send them to. The first group, your subject line didn't work. The second group, the message of your email didn't work. So you can write a brand new message with a new subject line and a whole new email, send it only to the people that didn't click the link, who never saw the offer, and to them it's something completely new. It's completely fresh, and then the people who click that time, it gets you a lot more sales. And actually emailing your unopened and emailing your non-clickers will really boost your income. If you just stop the podcast right there with that simple beginning segmentation move, it'll make a big difference. Now, beyond that, with advanced segmentation, with a little bit more advanced method, you just keep track of which types of offers people click on. So every time you create an affiliate offer, every time you're promoting an offer as an affiliate, you simply mark which people click it. After a while, you'll notice 60% of your list clicks on yoga offers, 60% of your list clicks on diet offers, and 35% of your list clicks on kettlebell offers. What you can do is start sending specific offers to the people that are interested in that type of thing. And you can do that automatically by creating sequences, which is where you have a sequence that's tied to each tag. Very powerful way to send out an automatic series of emails rather than just affecting your broadcasts. But now you're sending people the right messages. Of course, you can send everyone your kettlebell email and 35% of the people will be interested in it, but you're wasting the email you've sent to 65% of the people. 65% of the people are opening email that doesn't interest them. So instead, you could send out emails that are correct for 3 different groups of people and increase your sales, decrease your opt-outs, and increase your engagement. People will say, wow, this guy understands what I want. This lady understands the messages that I respond to. The second really powerful way is with upsells. So you're selling your own product, product A. When people buy it, immediately on the next page, they're offered an upsell, a bonus, a one-time offer. This is where you try to sell something. Your front-end product's $27, $47. The next thing you show them is something for $97. Huge bump for you, a nice income boost, and it's really valuable. If you've done your marketing right, your upsell makes sense to your audience and will increase how much money they make, and it'll really help them. If you only put your buyers on a list and you don't separately put a list for your upsell buyers, you can't re-offer that upsell. Otherwise, you're going to offer it to people who already bought it. If you sell 100 copies of the main product, only 17 upsells, if you email all of them and say, hey, here's this amazing offer, in case you missed it, here's the upsell, those 17 people are going to get annoyed. You're going to damage your relationship with them. Anytime you send people an offer for something that you've already bought, they get annoyed because it shows them that you're not paying attention to them and that you've made a mistake. So you really, really want to avoid that. The third step is developing intelligent sales promotions. When you're promoting your own offers, when you're running your own campaigns, you can do some really amazing things. You can ask your audience what types of things they're interested in. You can send out a little survey in an email and say, are you interested in losing weight, gaining muscle, being more attractive, or being stronger to your fitness list? This simple question. They click on whichever links interest them. And each link just adds a tag to their profile. Now you know the right offers to send them. They're willing to give you that information so that you send them better emails. As far as the mechanics of implementing this system, which will make you more money and make your list happier, there's a couple of key steps. The first is action tagging. When they do different things, you add them to a new list or you tag them in ConvertKit. Whenever they buy a product, they get added to a new list inside your autoresponder. And you can also set an action that when they get added to a new list, they get removed from the old one. So let's say you have a list for people that took a free gift on your yoga offer. You then have another list for the yoga offer buyers. The yoga free gift is going to keep trying to sell them that yoga offer. So you don't want to resend that over and over again to someone who already bought it. When they buy, they get taken off the free gift list and they're on the buyer's list. So this is moving people from list to list rather than just adding them to a new list. This segmentation will ensure that you don't send people an annoying promotion. Hey, I know you bought A yesterday. I know you bought my yoga course yesterday, but I just want to make sure again. Do you want to buy it again? That's an annoying email that you don't want to send, and it can be a little bit embarrassing. So this is a great way to avoid that mistake that we've all made. It's pretty common. Action tagging can also work when they click on different links or they go through different opt-ins. So every time someone takes a free gift from me, they get tagged. I know everyone who's taken their free gift in Breaking Orbit, and everyone who's taken their free gift in 20K in a day, and everyone who's taken the free gift in servenomaster. So I know the people who bought different books. I'm not going to send someone an email recommending they buy my book servenomaster if they've already bought it. That's silly. When you buy a book through Amazon, or when you sell products through Amazon, Amazon doesn't give you the email addresses of your customers. So I can't segment and mark people at the point of purchase, but I can segment anyone who takes the free gift. That's a really helpful way to segment my list and to start tagging people, very valuable for me. Another way of segmenting or mechanics is time-based movement between your lists or your sequences. When someone has been on a certain list for 30 days, they get moved to another one. This way you have your brand new people and then your second phase people. So perhaps when people join your list, they go through 30 days of automated emails. At the end of those 30 days, they then get added to your general pool list, which is where you send your broadcasts. You don't want to email people 2 different offers on the same day. This is a great way to continue to build your list and to not accidentally make that little mistake of sending an automated email that you didn't realize they were going to get, and then sending a broadcast email, which is your intentional email to send today. Third thing you can do, the third element of the mechanics of splitting people, as I mentioned before, is simply sending them a survey. This is something really wonderful that Ryan Levesque teaches in his book, Ask. And he talks about the 12th email. He sends a 12 email sequence. It's a really, really good book, actually. And the whole book, of course, is a lead into his funnel. But his services are so much more expensive than mine. I'm more than happy to recommend his book because he starts out charging $25,000 just to get him on the phone. So you got to have big money if you want to work with him. His whole system is asking people what they want and then giving it to them through using surveys in a very intelligent way. I'm a big fan of his methodology. I think it's very, very good. And on the 12th email in his sequence, he'll say, okay, obviously you weren't interested in buying my yoga course. What are you interested in? Are you interested in A, B, C, or D? And of course, he develops those 4 questions by asking questions earlier on in the sequence to find out what 4 options he should offer. This is a very valuable way of approaching your list. And it's a great way to segment. Instead of you just arbitrarily adding tags, you let them add tags to themselves. And now you know you're sending them offers based on what they're interested in. They've said, hey, I'd like to get emails about this. Very, very powerful technique. The survey email simply says, I don't want to send you emails that waste your time or don't interest you. You obviously weren't interested in this yoga product, and I totally understand that. The last thing I want to do is annoy you by sending you a bunch of emails about something else you don't want to hear about. So tell me what you'd like to hear about from me. Most people will click something because it's valuable to them. They don't want to hear the dumb emails, and you don't want to send the wrong emails. So it creates a really strong relationship. Following these mechanics, following these implementation, you can send out more intelligent automated emails. You put people into your sequences for the products they want to hear about. When you segment your list properly, you will massively increase your profits. You will massively increase your email opens, and you will massively increase your engagement. Advanced email marketers, people that have been email marketing for a long time, they talk about important things like email rates, open rates, and click-through rates. Sometimes I meet people that tell me, oh, I've got a list of 1 million people, I've got a list of 100,000 people. I'm like, that's so cool. And it also doesn't matter how many people open every email. Sometimes people have an email list of 100,000 people and it's total garbage. Only 3,000 of the people on their list has opened an email in the last 6 months. Then those other 97,000 people, they don't matter. All that really matters is your open rate. How many people will read an email you send out? It's pretty important. Even more important that how many people click on each email you send. So if you have an email list of 2,000 people and 50% of them click every message you send, if you can send 1,000 clicks, and someone else with a list of 100,000 people can only get 3% to open, and out of them only 1 out of 3 clicks, well, you're sending the same amounts of traffic, except for your traffic is better because the people like you more because you have such a high percentage. That shows you have a better relationship with your list. So don't worry about your size list, and don't wait to start segmenting down the line. The sooner you start segmenting, the easier it will be. When you try and wait 6 months or a year and you go, oh, I don't want to add in these things until I have a list of 1,000, 10,000, 20, whatever your number is, people, when you hit that number, you're going, oh no, this is a nightmare. Believe me, I've been down this road. This is a mistake I've made. I've been through multiple email providers, through different campaigns and different niches. And I can tell you that now that I'm at home with ConvertKit, it's a lot easier to manage my list. It's a lot easier for me to structure everything correctly with their amazing tagging feature. And also, I no longer have to worry about accidentally sending people the wrong email that they don't want to hear about. I'm very excited about this. And if you segment your list properly, if you follow these simple principles, you will make more money and grow your list and grow your business a lot faster.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of ServenoMaster. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss another episode. We'll be back tomorrow with more tips and tactics on how to escape that rat race. Head over to servenomaster.com/podcasts now for your chance to win a free copy of Jonathan's bestseller, Serve No Master. All you have to do is leave a 5-star review of this podcast. See you tomorrow.
To celebrate the launch of this podcast, I'm giving away some epic prizes. You could win an Amazon tab and have me personally turn you into a best-selling author. To win your part of over $20,000 in prizes, go to servenomaster.com/contest.